Maya worked at a small diner in the heart of the city. It was not a fancy place, but it had a warmth that made people feel at home. The tables were a little scratched, the chairs a bit wobbly, and the walls were decorated with old pictures of the town. Even with all that, Maya loved working there. She liked seeing regular customers come in and smile at her. She enjoyed serving coffee, pancakes, sandwiches, and pies. Maya was young, energetic, and confident. She had a bright smile that could make anyone feel welcome. She wore a simple uniform, usually a plain shirt and an apron. Today was a busy afternoon, and the diner was full of people. The lunch crowd had arrived, and orders were coming fast. Maya moved quickly from table to table, taking orders, carrying plates, and making sure everyone had what they needed. Suddenly, the front door opened, and a man walked in. He looked different from most of the other customers. He wore a sharp, dark suit, polished shoes, and a watch that looked very expensive. He carried himself in a way that showed confidence and power. Maya noticed him immediately. He walked to the counter and sat down on a high stool. "Black coffee, please," he said politely, but with a calm tone that made his voice seem important. "Sure, sir," Maya replied with her usual smile. She quickly poured the coffee and started to carry it toward him. She balanced the cup and saucer carefully, weaving through the crowded diner as she leaned forward to place the coffee in front of him. Her shirt caught on the corner of the counter. She felt a sudden pull, and her shirt tore slightly at the seam. Maya's face turned red, and she froze for a moment. She quickly tried to adjust her shirt, hoping no one had noticed. The man looked at her and, for a moment, seemed surprised. He did not laugh or look annoyed. Instead, his eyes were focused on something else. A part of Maya's shoulder was visible, and there was a tattoo there. It was not a small or simple design. It was bright and colorful, full of lines and details. The tattoo showed a bird flying above mountains. The sun was rising behind the mountains, and the bird seemed free and strong. Maya had gotten the tattoo to remind herself to stay brave, no matter what challenges came her way. She had always kept it hidden at work because she did not want anyone to ask questions or misunderstand. Now, it was visible, and the man's eyes stayed on it. He seemed interested, not in a rude way, but in a curious and respectful way. Other customers at the diner also noticed the tattoo. Some whispered to each other, pointing quietly, while others simply stared, amazed at the colorful design. Maya's heart started beating faster. She felt embarrassed at first, but she also felt a little proud. Her tattoo was meaningful to her, and it showed a part of her personality that most people did not see. She looked at the man, who smiled gently. It was not a mocking smile. It was one of respect and interest. "Your tattoo is beautiful," he said quietly. His voice was calm, and it carried a sense of honesty. "It looks like it has a story behind it." Maya blinked, surprised that he noticed so quickly. She nodded, unsure if she should explain. "It does. It reminds me to stay strong, even when things are hard," she said softly. The man nodded. "That is a good message. Everyone should have something like that." For a moment, the diner felt quiet. People continued eating and talking, but there was a small feeling of awe in the air. Maya smiled back at the man, feeling a strange sense of connection. As she continued her work, carrying plates and serving drinks, Maya realized that this small moment had changed something. She had been nervous at first, but now she felt proud of who she was and what her tattoo meant. The man sipped his coffee, still watching her with interest. Maya went back to taking orders, but she could not help noticing him from the corner of her eye. Something about him felt different from the usual customers. He seemed kind, confident, and curious about the world. And in that busy diner, with the smell of coffee and fresh bread filling the air, Maya felt that something new and unexpected was about to begin. the diner continued to hum with activity. Plates clattered, coffee machines hissed, and people talked quietly at their tables. Maya moved from one table to another, taking orders and serving food. But she could not stop thinking about the man at the counter. There was something different about him. He had a calm presence, yet an energy that made people notice him without even trying. As she refilled his coffee, the man watched her closely. He did not stare in a rude way. Instead, his eyes held curiosity, like he wanted to understand something beyond what he could see. Maya felt a little nervous under his gaze, but also a strange sense of comfort. He seemed respectful, and she realized she could speak freely with him if she wanted. After a few minutes, the diner grew quieter. Some customers had left, and the lunch rush was slowing down. The man finally spoke again. "Your tattoo. It is very detailed. Did you design it yourself?" he asked politely. Maya hesitated for a moment, then smiled. "No, I did not design it myself, but I chose it carefully. It is very special to me," she said. Her voice was soft but confident. She could feel the attention of the few remaining customers, some of whom were listening quietly. The man nodded, sipping his coffee slowly. "I can see why. It is strong and meaningful. It tells a story without words." Maya felt a small rush of pride. Most people at the diner never asked about her tattoo. Some noticed it, but no one ever seemed to care about the meaning. This man's interest felt genuine. "It reminds me to stay brave," she explained. "To keep moving forward, even when life is difficult." "That is very wise," the man said. "Not everyone can do that. Many people give up when things get hard. You are lucky to have something that inspires you." Maya looked down at the counter, a little embarrassed by the attention. She had never spoken about her tattoo at work before. It was private, something personal she carried with her. Yet now, speaking about it felt right. There was honesty in the diner, in the smell of coffee, the warm sunlight through the windows, and in the quiet respect of this man. A few other customers at the diner began to glance at her and the man. One woman whispered to her friend, pointing at Maya's shoulder, while another customer smiled quietly. It was unusual for someone in a small diner to have such a colorful, meaningful tattoo. People were curious but not rude, and Maya felt a sense of pride in showing a part of herself that she usually kept hidden. The man finally placed his cup on the counter. "Would you mind telling me the story behind it?" he asked gently. Maya thought for a moment. It was not a short story, but she decided to share a small part. "When I was younger, life was very difficult for my family. I wanted to remind myself to be strong and never lose hope. The bird represents freedom, and the mountains represent the challenges I had to climb," she said. Her voice was steady, and she could feel the sincerity in her words. The man nodded thoughtfully. "That is beautiful. You have a lot of courage. Most people would hide something like that, but you wear it with pride." Maya felt a warmth in her chest. For the first time, someone outside her family had recognized the strength behind her tattoo. She smiled, and the man returned the smile. There was a quiet understanding between them, a moment of connection that went beyond words. "Thank you," Maya said softly. "It means a lot to me that you notice it." "You should be proud," the man replied. "It is not just a tattoo. It is a reminder of who you are and what you can overcome." The diner seemed a little brighter at that moment. Maya continued her work, taking orders and serving food, but she felt different inside. She had shared a part of herself, and it was received with respect and admiration. As she glanced at the man one last time before moving to the next table. She realized that this encounter could change her day or even her life. She did not know how yet, but something about him made her feel that new opportunities were just around the corner. The sun continued to shine through the diner windows, lighting up the small room in warm golden light. And for Maya, A small but important part of her story had been seen, understood, and appreciated. The diner was quieting down as the afternoon moved toward evening. Maya wiped down tables, refilled salt and pepper shakers, and smiled at the remaining customers. Even though her shift was tiring, she felt a small excitement she could not explain. Something about the man at the counter had stirred a feeling of curiosity and interest inside her. The man sipped his coffee slowly, watching her work. Maya noticed he did not seem impatient, nor was he in a rush. There was a calm patience about him, a quiet confidence that made people notice without him needing to speak loudly or demand attention. She wondered what kind of life he led to carry himself with such ease. After a while, he finally spoke again. "You have a good way with people," he said. "Everyone here seems comfortable around you." Maya smiled, brushing a strand of hair behind her ear. "Thank you. I try my best. I like seeing people happy and comfortable." He nodded, taking another sip of coffee. It is rare to see someone who enjoys their work so much. Many people just do their jobs for the money. But you seem to care. Maya felt a small warmth in her chest. She had worked many jobs before, and most had felt dull and lifeless. But this diner, this small, friendly place, made her feel at home. She liked seeing familiar faces every day, greeting people, and sometimes sharing small conversations with regulars. Not everyone notices little things, the man continued. Like the way someone smiles when they are proud of what they do, or the way they carry themselves when they are confident. Maya laughed softly. "I never thought anyone would notice something like that. Most people just want their coffee and leave." The man smiled. "I notice because I understand the value of small things. People are often more than what they show on the surface. You are one of them." Maya paused, surprised. No customer had ever spoken to her like this before. There was something genuine about his words. She felt like he was not just looking at her, but seeing her for who she truly was. For a moment, the diner seemed to fade away. It was just her and him, and a quiet connection forming between two people who had never met before. Maya realized that her tattoo had started the conversation, but now it was her personality and presence that held his attention. "Do you often come to this diner?" she asked, trying to keep her voice casual. He shook his head. "No, this is my first time. I was in the area and wanted something simple and honest. A place that feels real, not like a chain restaurant. And I'm glad I found it. It has a certain charm." Maya smiled. "That is what I love about this place. It may not be fancy, but it feels like home. Everyone here knows each other, and we all take care of each other." The man nodded. "I like that. I think places like this are rare. People forget how important small communities are, how important it is to connect." Maya felt encouraged. She continued serving the last few customers, but she found herself glancing back at him several times. She wondered what had brought him here and why he seemed so genuinely interested in ordinary life. Most people of his appearance, people who looked wealthy and important, would never notice a small diner or care about the stories behind a tattoo. Finally, as he finished his coffee, he placed a few bills on the counter. "Keep the change," he said with a warm smile. "And keep being brave. The world needs people like you." Maya accepted the money, feeling grateful but also a little puzzled. She wanted to ask more about him, about his life, about how someone like him could take the time to notice her world. But he simply stood, straightened his jacket, and smiled again. "I will probably see you again," he said softly. Turning toward the door, Maya watched him leave, a small excitement growing inside her. Something about this encounter felt like the beginning of a story she had never expected. The tattoo had caught his attention, but it was more than that. It was a connection between two people from very different worlds. As the sun began to set, painting the diner in golden light, Maya realized that her life, even in this small diner, had just changed in a quiet but important way. Something new, something unexpected, was waiting for her, and she could not wait to see what would come next. The next morning, Maya arrived at the diner as usual. The small bell over the door jingled as she stepped inside, and the familiar smell of fresh coffee and baked bread greeted her. She hung her coat and tied her apron, ready for another busy day. Even though it was just another day at work, she could not stop thinking about the man in the suit from yesterday. She wondered if he would return, or if he was just someone passing through. His calm presence and genuine interest had left a strong impression on her. Most customers came, ate, and left without leaving any memory behind, but he was different. There was something in his eyes, a warmth and curiosity that made her feel seen. As she took orders from the first few customers, the diner's door opened, and a small rush of cold air entered the room. Maya looked up automatically, and her heart skipped a beat. There he was, the man in the sharp suit, walking confidently toward the counter. He smiled when he saw her. "Good morning," he said kindly. "I hope I am not disturbing your day." Maya smiled back, feeling a little nervous but excited. "Not at all. I'm glad to see you again. Please, have a seat." He sat down at the counter as before, and Maya quickly poured a fresh cup of coffee for him. As she placed it in front of him, he noticed the small notebook in her hand, which she sometimes used to jot down orders or reminders. "You write things down?" he asked, curious. Maya nodded. "Yes, I like to keep track of orders and ideas. It helps me stay organized, especially when it gets busy." "That is smart," he said with a warm smile. "I do something similar. Planning and organization make a big difference, no matter what we do." Maya felt a growing sense of respect for him. He seemed interested in ordinary things, in small details that most people ignored. His attention was sincere, not judgmental. After a few minutes, he leaned slightly closer and spoke softly. "Maya, I wanted to ask you something. I hope it is not too forward, but I feel there is something special about you. You have a way of seeing life that is rare. I would like to know more about your story." Maya blinked, surprised. Most people never asked about her life, especially someone she had just met. Yet there was honesty in his eyes, a genuine desire to understand her world. She thought of her tattoo, of the story behind it, and of the pride she felt showing it yesterday. "It is not a simple story," she said quietly. "My life has had challenges, like everyone's, but I try to stay positive and brave. That is why I have the tattoo, to remind myself to keep moving forward." He nodded thoughtfully. "That is inspiring. Many people give up when life becomes hard. You have strength that should be shared with the world." Maya felt a small blush of pride. His words were kind, encouraging, and unlike anything she had heard before. She realized that he saw her not just as a waitress, but as a person with dreams, ideas, and courage. For a moment, the diner seemed to fade away. It was just her and him, talking quietly while the morning light streamed through the windows. Maya felt a rare connection forming, one that went beyond ordinary conversation. After a while, he reached into his pocket and pulled out a small card. "I own a company not far from here," he said. "I think you have talent and dedication that could be valuable. I would like to offer you a chance to visit, to see what I do. No pressure, of course, only if you are interested." Maya's eyes widened in surprise. She had never imagined that someone like him would notice her efforts at the diner, let alone offer her such an opportunity. She took the card carefully, feeling a mix of excitement and nervousness. "Thank you," she said softly. "I will think about it." "Take your time," he replied. "There is no rush. I just wanted to give you the chance to see something new. Life is full of unexpected opportunities, and I think you are ready for one." As he finished his coffee and left the diner, Maya watched him go with a sense of wonder. The morning light seemed brighter, the air warmer, and the small diner felt full of possibility. She knew that her life might be about to change in ways she could not yet imagine. And for the first time, Maya realized that sometimes the smallest encounters could lead to the biggest opportunities. Maya could not stop thinking about the man and the card he had given her. She held it in her hand as she worked her shift at the diner. The busy clatter of plates and cups around her faded into the background as her mind replayed every moment from the previous days. His kind words, his interest in her story, and now this unexpected opportunity, everything felt like a small dream. She had never imagined her coworkers noticed that she was quieter than usual. Lila, who worked with her at the counter, leaned closer during a short break. "You seem distracted today," she whispered with a smile. "Something exciting must have happened." Maya smiled back, a little nervously. I met someone. He is different. He noticed my tattoo, and he wants to give me a chance to see something new. He owns a company nearby, and he asked me to visit." Lila's eyes widened. "Wow, that sounds amazing. Are you going to go?" Maya shook her head slightly. "I don't know. It is exciting, yes, but also a little scary. I have never done anything like that before. What if I'm not ready?" Lila placed a hand on Maya's shoulder. "You are stronger than you think, and this is your chance to try something new. Sometimes opportunities don't come twice." Maya nodded thoughtfully, feeling a mixture of fear and excitement. She had spent most of her life working hard, helping her family, and keeping her dreams small. She had always thought that stability was the safest path. But now, a small voice inside her whispered that maybe it was time to take a chance. As the day went on, Maya tried to focus on her work. She served coffee, refilled plates, and greeted customers with her usual cheerful smile. Yet, her mind kept returning to the card. She read the words again, a simple name, a company address, and a message. "Opportunity awaits. Come and see." After her shift ended, Maya walked home slowly. The city streets were busy with people going about their lives. Some were rushing to catch buses, others were talking on their phones. Maya felt a strange contrast between their hurry and the quiet hope growing inside her. She imagined what it would be like to visit the company, to step into a world so different from the diner, and to learn something new. That night, Maya could not sleep. She stared at the ceiling, thinking about the decision she had to make. She thought about the diner, her coworkers, and the life she had known. Then she thought about herself, the bravery she carried inside, the lessons from her past, and the tattoo that reminded her to never give up. Finally, she made a choice. She realized that fear was natural, but it should not stop her from trying. She had worked hard all her life, and now an opportunity had appeared, one she could not ignore. With determination, she decided to visit the company the next day. The following morning, Maya prepared carefully. She chose a simple but neat outfit, one that made her feel confident. She tied her hair back, checked the card for the address, and took a deep breath. The city streets looked brighter in the early sunlight, and she felt a flutter of excitement mixed with nervousness as she approached the address on the card. Maya saw a tall, modern building. It looked impressive and different from anything she had seen before. Her heart raced. She reminded herself that this was just a visit, a chance to learn and explore. She could leave if it felt uncomfortable. When she entered the building, a friendly receptionist greeted her. "Welcome. Are you here to see Mr. Harris?" Maya nodded and showed the card. "Yes, he invited me." The receptionist smiled and directed her to a waiting area. Maya sat down, feeling the tension in her shoulders slowly ease. She looked around at the clean, bright room and realized that this was the start of something new, a step into a world full of possibilities. A few moments later, the man from the diner appeared. He smiled warmly at her. "I am glad you came, Maya. Don't worry, this is just a visit. You will see everything and learn at your own pace." Maya returned his smile, feeling a sense of courage and anticipation. She knew that stepping into this new world would not be easy, but she was ready to try. And at that moment, Maya understood that sometimes life gives rare opportunities to those who are willing to take a step forward. Maya stepped into the building, her eyes wide with curiosity. The lobby was bright and spacious, with large windows that let in sunlight. The floors were polished, and plants were placed in corners, giving the place a welcoming feeling. Even though it was different from the small diner she worked at, it did not feel cold or unwelcoming. The man from the diner, whose name she now remembered was Mr. Harris, smiled at her. "Welcome, Maya. I am glad you decided to come. Today, I will show you around and let you see what we do here." Maya nodded, feeling a mix of excitement and nervousness. She followed him through wide hallways, past offices filled with people working at computers. Some employees were talking in small groups, while others were focused on their tasks. Everything seemed busy but calm, organized yet full of life. "This is our main workspace," Mr. Harris explained. "People here are dedicated to solving problems and creating solutions that help our clients. Everyone has a role, and everyone contributes to the team. I wanted you to see this because I think you have potential that fits well here." Maya looked around, impressed. She had never been in a place like this. It was so different from the diner, yet it also reminded her of her own work ethic. The focus, the care, and the dedication were similar to what she practiced every day while serving customers. They continued walking, and Mr. Harris led her to a conference room. "Here, we have brainstorming sessions. Ideas are shared freely, and creativity is valued. I want you to see how people work together." Inside the room, a few employees were discussing a project. They welcomed Maya with friendly smiles. She could see charts on the walls, colorful sticky notes, and diagrams showing progress on tasks. Everything looked organized, yet full of energy. "You see, Maya," Mr. Harris said quietly, "we value people who can think, solve problems, and connect with others. I noticed that you have qualities that are rare. You pay attention to details, you care about people, and you have determination. These qualities are valuable anywhere." Maya listened carefully, feeling a sense of pride. She had never imagined that her daily work, her dedication, and her small acts of care could be noticed in such a large place. It was encouraging and inspiring. After the tour, Mr. Harris took her to a smaller office. On the desk was a notebook, some papers, and a computer. "This is where I want you to spend some time," he explained. "You can observe, ask questions, and see how we handle different tasks. You don't need to do anything yet. Just watch and learn. This is a first step." Maya sat down, feeling a mix of nerves and excitement. She looked at the papers and the computer screen. Everything seemed complicated at first, but she remembered Mr. Harris's words about taking small steps and learning patiently. She took a deep breath and opened her notebook, ready to take notes. Hours passed quickly as she observed the team. She watched how they communicated, how they solved problems, and how they encouraged each other. She asked questions whenever she could, and Mr. Harris explained everything patiently. Maya realized that even though this world was very different from the diner, many skills were similar: attention, care, teamwork, and determination. By the end of the day, Maya felt a sense of accomplishment. She had learned so much in just a few hours. Mr. Harris smiled at her as they walked back toward the lobby. "You did very well today, Maya. I hope you can see that you belong here and that your potential is limitless." Maya smiled, feeling a warmth in her heart. For the first time, she realized that her life could change in ways she had never imagined. She had taken the first step, and the path ahead seemed full of opportunities. As she stepped out of the building and into the evening air. Maya looked up at the city lights starting to glow. She felt proud, hopeful, and ready. This was only the beginning, and she knew that with courage and determination, she could achieve much more than she had ever dreamed. The next morning, Maya arrived at the company with a mixture of excitement and nervousness. After the previous day's tour, she felt more confident, but this was her first time taking on even a small responsibility. She wanted to do well and show that Mr. Harris had made the right decision in inviting her. Mr. Harris greeted her with a warm smile. "Good morning, Maya. Today you will start with something small. Nothing too difficult, but it will give you a chance to contribute and see how we work together." Maya nodded, feeling her heart beat faster. She followed him to a room where a few employees were gathered around a table filled with papers, charts, and colorful markers. "We are working on a new project," Mr. Harris explained. "I want you to observe first and then assist with organizing some of the ideas. You can write them down and help us see patterns." Maya took a seat at the table. She listened carefully as the team discussed their ideas. Each person had a suggestion, and Mr. Harris encouraged them to share openly. Maya noticed how everyone respected each other's thoughts and built on them instead of dismissing them. It reminded her of teamwork at the diner, when staff had to cooperate to serve customers smoothly. After a while, Mr. Harris handed Maya a notepad. "Take notes and help us organize the ideas. You have a good eye for detail, and I think you will do well." Maya nodded, feeling determined. She focused on the discussion, writing down each idea clearly. She highlighted important points and organized them into categories. As she worked, she realized that her skills from the diner attention to detail, patience, and careful observation were helping her succeed here too. One of the employees noticed her work and smiled. "You are very organized. That makes it easier for all of us to understand the ideas." Maya smiled back, feeling a sense of pride. It was encouraging to know that even small contributions could make a difference. She continued writing, making sure everything was clear and easy to read. After a few hours, Mr. Harris looked at her notes. "Excellent work, Maya. You organized everything perfectly. This will help the team a lot." You see, small contributions can have a big impact when done carefully. Maya felt a warmth in her chest. She realized that her determination, attention, and careful approach were valuable, even in a place so different from the diner. She understood that skills could transfer from one world to another if used thoughtfully. Throughout the day, Maya continued to assist the team. She asked questions, clarified details, and made sure everyone could follow the plan. Mr. Harris observed quietly, smiling as he saw her confidence grow. At one point, he approached her. "You have a natural ability to see what is important and make it clear to others. That is rare, Maya. Many people struggle with that, but you do it effortlessly." Maya felt a small blush of pride. She had always thought of herself as just a waitress, someone who worked hard but did not stand out. Now she realized that her dedication, attention to detail, and caring nature were qualities that could shine anywhere. By the end of the day, the team had made significant progress, and Maya's notes were a key part of that success. Mr. Harris called her aside. "You did very well today. I hope you can see that your efforts matter. This is just the beginning, Maya. There is much more you can learn and achieve here." Maya smiled, feeling a mix of happiness and excitement. She had started with small tasks, but she had made a real contribution. She felt proud of herself and grateful for the opportunity. As she left the office that evening, Maya thought about how much she had grown in just a few days. She had faced her fears, taken a step into the unknown, and discovered that she could succeed. The future felt brighter than ever, full of possibilities waiting for her to explore. For the first time in her life, Maya truly believed that with courage, determination, and hard work, she could achieve far more than she had ever imagined. Maya woke up early the next morning, her heart full of anticipation. Today was a special day. She had spent the past week learning, observing, and helping at Mr. Harris's company. Every moment had taught her something new, and she felt herself growing stronger, more confident, and ready to face challenges she had never imagined. As she prepared for the day, she thought about how much her life had changed in such a short time. From the small diner where she served coffee and sandwiches, to this modern office where her contributions were valued. She realized that courage and determination could open doors she never expected. When Maya arrived at the company, Mr. Harris greeted her with his usual warm smile. "Good morning, Maya. Today, I have something special for you. I want you to take the lead on a small project. You have learned a lot this week, and I think it is time to see what you can do independently." Maya felt a mixture of excitement and nervousness. Leading a project sounded challenging, but she also knew it was an opportunity to show her abilities. She nodded confidently. "I will do my best, Mr. Harris." He guided her to a small team working on a creative idea for a new client. "This is your project. You will organize the team, make a plan, and present it by the end of the day. Don't worry, I will be here if you need guidance, but I want you to take charge." Maya took a deep breath and looked at the team. They smiled at her, ready to follow her instructions. She felt a small surge of pride. She had never imagined leading a project or being trusted in such a way. She remembered her tattoo, the bird flying above the mountains. It was a symbol of courage and freedom, and now it seemed to guide her. She started by listening carefully to the team's ideas. Everyone had suggestions, and Maya made sure each person felt heard. She wrote down every detail, highlighted important points, and organized them clearly. Then, she created a plan that everyone could follow, showing where each person could contribute best. As the day progressed, Maya noticed how her confidence grew. She spoke clearly, encouraged the team, and made decisions calmly. The team responded well to her leadership, working efficiently and creatively. Maya realized that her attention to detail, patience, and caring nature were not just useful. They were powerful tools for leading others. Mr. Harris observed quietly from a distance, smiling as he watched Maya take charge. She was calm, confident, and capable. It was clear that she had grown in just a short time, learning how to step into a world much bigger than the diner while staying true to herself. By the afternoon, the project was nearly complete. Maya reviewed everything carefully and made small improvements. She presented the final plan to the team, explaining each step clearly. The team clapped and smiled, proud of the progress they had made under her guidance. Mr. Harris approached her at the end of the day. "Maya, you did an incredible job. You led the team with patience, clarity, and determination. I am impressed by how quickly you adapted and how confident you have become. This is only the beginning of what you can achieve." Maya felt a warmth in her chest, a mixture of happiness, pride, and gratitude. She had taken a step into the unknown, faced her fears, and discovered abilities she had never known she had. "Thank you, Mr. Harris," she said softly. "I could not have imagined this opportunity. I have learned so much, and I'm excited to keep growing." He smiled. "You have a bright future ahead, Maya. Remember that courage and determination can take you far, no matter where you start. Your journey is just beginning." As Maya left the office that evening, the city lights glimmered around her. She thought about the diner where it all began, the small place where she worked hard every day, served customers with care, and carried a symbol of courage on her shoulder. That small beginning had led to something much bigger, a chance to explore her potential and follow her dreams. Maya realized that life could change in unexpected ways, and that every step she had taken, big or small, had prepared her for this moment. She felt proud of herself, excited for the future, and ready to face new challenges with confidence. And as she walked home, the tattoo on her shoulder reminded her that she was brave, strong, and free to soar above any challenge. Maya smiled, knowing that this was just the beginning of a journey full of possibilities, and that her story had only just started.